Very important piece of breaking news to start off today's edition of 5 Live. After serial terror attacks in Jammu, at least 10 in all, the biggest terror hunt has just been launched in the Jammu sector. Operation All Out is what it's called, and it has begun in earnest across different parts of the Jammu division. A big army operation has been launched called Mission All Out to kill or hunt down or flush out anywhere between 50 and 60 Pakistani terrorists who've infiltrated Jammu and who have escalated levels of violence to an unprecedented degree south of the Pir Panjal range that separates Jammu from the Kashmir Valley. The Modi government has started what many observers are seeing as part 2 of Sarp Vinash. Sarp Vinash is a famous operation that was conducted over 20 years ago in the similar region of the Jammu area to flush out a large number of terrorists who had infiltrated across the line of control and the international border. We've got our reporters on the ground across Jammu getting us the very latest. Even yesterday, there was an incident of violence. Clearly, there is a design to escalate the levels of violence and put the government on the back foot in the Jammu division. Take a look at Sunil Ji's latest report from Jammu.
Rajouri district, and a massive counter-terror operation has been launched by the security forces across the length and breadth of the hilly districts of Jammu region. Right now you can see these visuals that reinforcements are being sent to different places where there is suspicion that terrorists are hiding. We are on ground zero in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district's Khwas area at about 3:10 a.m. There was a terror attack on an army camp as well as on the village defense group members. This is the same village to which Purushottam Kumar belongs, who was awarded with Shaurya Chakra earlier this year. In 2023, it was because of his alertness and his valor, 2 dreaded Pakistani terrorists were eliminated in this particular area. And now there are reports that 40 to 50 Pakistani terrorists are hiding in the upper reaches of Jammu division's hilly districts. And now the security forces have launched a major counter-terror offensive in Jammu division. Behind me you are seeing these exclusive visuals of the reinforcements being sent to different areas where there is suspicion that terrorists are hiding. We are going to show you some more visuals. Look at the terrain. This is one of the most dangerous stretches here in Rajouri districts. The visibility is very low. Weather at times is inclement, but braving all odds, our security forces are on their job. They are trying their level best to ensure that these counter-terror operations are taken to their logical conclusion and the Pakistani terrorists who are hiding in the upper reaches are eliminated as soon as possible. This is Sunil Bhatt reporting from Ground Zero in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district for India Today.
10 terror attacks in quick succession over a month and a half in the Jammu region, especially in the high altitude areas, has meant that this has become a huge issue for the Indian Army. Sources telling India Today that anywhere between 40 and 50 Pakistani terrorists have managed to infiltrate and are hiding in the upper reaches of the hilly districts of the Jammu division, which is where Sunil Ji was just reporting from, as you just saw him. Pakistani terrorists who've managed to infiltrate are highly trained, equipped with some of the most modern, sophisticated weapons, including American-made M4 carbine rifles fitted with night vision devices. These are not the usual Fiddain terrorists you see coming across the line of control. These appear to be either military-trained terrorists or ex-military members who've turned into terrorists. Pakistani terrorists also possess Chinese steel-coated bullets that can penetrate bulletproof vehicles. These have been also collected as evidence from various encounter sites. Pakistani terrorists active in the Jammu division hold expertise in mountain and jungle warfare. They're scattered in small commando-like groups in different parts of the Jammu region. Security forces have launched what is now being called Operation All Out, a major counter-terror operation in which anywhere between 40 and 50 terrorists who've been identified as having infiltrated and operating in the Jammu region will now be hunted and eliminated by the Indian Army and the Indian security forces. Joining me live from the ground in the Rajouri sector of Jammu is Sunilji Bhatt, who's been traveling across this restive part of J&K where the Indian Army has just launched Operation All Out. Sunil, this is going to be one of the most challenging, coordinated counter-terror operations on the lines of Sarp Vinash 2 decades ago. Operation All Out is what has begun now.
Absolutely, Shiv. A major counter-terror offensive has been launched across the length and breadth of Jammu region's hilly districts, be it Rajouri, be it Poonch, be it Kishtwar, Doda, Riyasi. Additional troops have also been rushed to these hilly districts because as per the intelligence sources, there is presence of terrorists. About 40 to 50 dreaded Pakistani terrorists are present in the upper reaches of the hilly areas of Jammu region. And Shiv, most of these terrorists are Pakistani terrorists. They are highly trained, equipped with some of the most modern weapons, including American-made M4 carbine rifles, fitted with night vision devices. And our sources are telling us that these terrorists are also having Chinese steel-coated bullets that can penetrate into bulletproof vehicles. So the challenge is huge, and what is compounding the problems of the security forces is the terrain. I will ask my camera person to show you the picture. Shiv, look at the terrain. These areas are surrounded by dense forests, mountains, and at times the visibility is also low. Right now, the place where I'm standing, there was heavy rainfall a short while ago. Look at this terrain. So it becomes very difficult in areas like these to launch counter-terror operations. But given the fact that that terror has raised its ugly head once again in the hilly areas of Jammu region, that is why a strategy has been formulated. It's a multi-pronged strategy. Recently, Shiv, a cabinet committee on security met. After that, Amit Shah also chaired an important meeting in New Delhi. Then Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi air dashed to Jammu, and this was his second visit to Jammu in less than a month's time. So one can understand that the challenge that has emerged in Jammu region is being viewed with all seriousness. That is why a proper strategy has been formulated, and the priority is to neutralize the terrorists who are present in the upper reaches. These are not easy areas to operate in, particularly for the security forces, given the fact that highly trained Pakistani terrorists who hold expertise in mountain warfare, jungle warfare, are present in these upper reaches. Yes, Shiv.
Stay with me, Sunil. I'm going to come back to you in just a bit. We've also got some of your ground reports that we're going to be playing out in just a moment from now. But joining me live for more on this developing story, Gaurav Sawant, managing editor, who's been reporting from Jammu and Kashmir extensively. Also joining us live, Lieutenant General Satish Dua, former Chief of the Integrated Defence Staff, also former Corps Commander of the 15 Corps in Srinagar. Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni is former Director General of Infantry, has also served extensively in the area. Gentlemen, welcome. General Dua, I want to come to you quickly first, sir. Your assessment of the current threat scenario in Jammu. There's been a talk for a while now about there needing to be a kind of coordinated, large-scale kind of operation to battle the clear design by Pakistan to elevate the levels of violence in the Jammu region, sir. What do you make of this current response?
As we have been seeing the developments in the last couple of months,
Yes.
Jammu region is being activated, and it is being activated because it was so far comparatively dormant. Because in the valley in Kashmir Valley, things are moving on the surface, moving back to normalcy. We've also had a good election. The tourists are coming, and everything is going on well. So the dormant areas being activated. We have seen the kind of operations, the way terrorists strike. They
Yes.
not only have struck on, they have not only struck the soft targets and targeted killings of one community, etc., but they have been now been emboldened, and they have started uh, ambushing or striking at ambushing security convoys, army convoy, or striking at the security forces
Yes.
camps or the army units, etc. When we see such operations, it is very clear that these are very trained terrorists, like you or one of your reporters said earlier. They are either Pakistan trained terrorists, or we can't even rule out if there are some ex Pakistan army soldiers into this, because we see a concerted plan to create turbulence here in this
Yes,
area,
absolutely.
to instill fear in the minds of people, take advantage of the fact that since area was dormant, some of the forces had been thinned out earlier. So what is being done now? You also mentioned in 2003, when this
Yes.
area of Surankot, Unch Rajouri, and I have commanded my battalion and brigade in this area many years earlier. So
Yes.
though these areas were infested with terrorists, and a very massive operation called Sarp Vinash was launched in 2003 in the areas of Surankot, the Punch Rajouri district, Hill Kaka areas. The terrain has been described by your reporter on the ground. I just want to add one more thing to that. To the terrain that he added, it's a high altitude area, jungle area. But there are also very many caves that give shelter. So when you go up to the from
Correct.
the line of villages and dhokes, here there are graziers that go up. So there are dhokes, the temporary houses on the higher reaches. There are also
Yes.
caves that the terrorists have been using. What is being done now in this operation? I gather from the press that last couple of days, more army units, a brigade, and one unit of special forces has reinforced the Jammu region.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Operation Serb Vinash 2, I mean the same operation that we're giving the same name, but now it is going to tackle what we are essentially doing is that since the terrorists have activated a dormant area, and we need to create some turbulence for these terrorists. We have to shake
Absolutely.
them from their comfort zones, wherever they think that they can strike at will. And a large scale operation launched in a coordinated manner. Details obviously are neither known nor is it desirable to discuss them here.
Correct. Correct.
But just like the Surf Mirage 1, and this is going to be an operation. If you also
Okay.
remember, there was an operation All Out launched in
Yes.
Kashmir Valley at the end of my tenure as Corps Commander, but it went on in 2017. What
Yes.
happens in a coordinated operation is not only searching the villages, searching the higher reaches, the mountains and the jungles and the caves, but it also leads to cracking down on the OGW, the overground workers. It also
Absolutely.
means cracking down on the fund flows. It's a concerted operation between the intelligence agencies, these
Okay,
central
so
armed
so
police
it's a it's a
forces,
it's a highly
all the security
coordinated
forces.
effort involving
Yes.
multi-agency involvement as well. So it's quite complicated. But India, like General Dua just said, has done this before. This time it's an even bigger challenge because of the nature of what we are dealing with. Remember, the objective, before I bring in General Kulkarni and Gaurav, the objective here is to neutralize. And I agree with General Dua. We will not be discussing any of the finer details of the operation. It is in nobody's interest, for us to do that. So we will be giving you very broad details. 35 to 50 terrorists who targeted soldiers and civilians in the Jammu area at this point. To prevent these terrorists from escaping the security cordon, we want them dead. We don't want them to escape back across the line of control. 50 quick reaction teams of special forces commandos, many different special forces units have been deployed for tactical quick reaction. 3,000 troops for administrative and logistics support. Alongside the special forces, there's a deployment of at strategic locations to prevent any of the escape routes. There's a rapid response capability with quick reaction teams and paracommandos as well. How you would expect a large, well-coordinated operation of this kind. Gaurav Sawant, who has covered Operation Sarp Vinash all those years ago, is also with me to provide a perspective. Gaurav, this has always been a challenging part of J&K. Dormant for a long time, which we saw even in the nature of some of these attacks, where, the attacks were conducted very close to the Himachal border, etc., shows that this is a wake-up call, and Operation All Out appears to be a response to that wake-up call.
Shiv, there are two quick points here. Operation Sarfinash had the added advantage of India striking at Pakistan across the line of control, which unfortunately there's a ceasefire, which the generals can tell us better. Does that ceasefire help Pakistan more? Because Indian artillery is far superior. With those 155 howitzers, you can punish not just the terrorists at their launch training camps, but also Pakistan army that enables those terrorists to infiltrate and gives cover fire to those terrorists when they infiltrate. Right now, what the Indian army is doing is deploying a lot of resources, a brigade plus your special forces, plus more than 50 fatalities and casualties that unfortunately the army, security forces and civilians have had, with absolutely no loss to Pakistan. Even if these terrorists are killed, it's no loss to Pakistan. It's like pruning the branches and leaves of the terror tree. No cost imposed on Pakistan, with crores and crores and unaffordable cost and lives of our men imposed on India. What is the cost imposed on Pakistan? The failure of India's counter-terror operations, with two major exceptions, were post-Uri surgical strikes and Balakot airstrikes after Pulwama, was imposing cost on Pakistani state, on imposing cost on Pakistan Army and Air Force. Unless you do that, we will fight. 10 years later, we'll be reporting on Operation Sarfinash 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, when Pakistanis will kill us at will. It's a shame that terrorists can afford to activate the security grid, south of Pir Panjal at will. They can activate an area at will. What are we doing? Why are we reactive? Why are we not proactive? That Pakistan should be scared of activating terror on our side. But both General Dua and General Kulkarni, and of course you with your experience, can tell our viewers better.
General Kulkarni, you want to clarify on that? The fact that it looks like the terrorists are operating freely, there doesn't appear to have been any sense of deterrence. They are, doing things as and when they please in Jammu, which is what has triggered this response, Operation All Out. But how do you read the situation and some of the points that Gaurav raised?
Shiv, whatever General Dua and Gaurav have added, there is no denying the fact that we have to raise the cost. Unlike the earlier operations in 2003 in Sarfinash, we ensured that the Bakrwals were not there in a higher reaches. We totally sanitized the area, and thereafter we knocked off all these militants over there. Now, since it's already monsoons, it's already raining heavily all over, the thick forested areas, it's very difficult to trace them. From Kishtwar itself, you can get into Anantnag from Sinthan Pass. You can get to Warwan, get to Warwan Valley, you get into Anantnag, you can even go to Ladakh. From Kishtwar, from Pada, you can get into Himachal Pradesh. From Bhadarwa, you can get into Pir Panjal and all over. So you find this entire area thickly forested, very well connected, and the kind of logistic support, because these 40 to 50 terrorists who are, I agree with General Dua, they're probably ex-servicemen. I go along with him, because the kind of equipment that they manage, the weapons after whatever we left in Afghanistan, that the weapons have come in, the kind of the Chinese apps they have, the Chinese bullets they have, the night vision devices that they have, they're very well equipped. And well, with the logistic support and the overground workers, there are a whole lot of people guiding them for whatever the cost and whatever the reason it may be. It's now not easy. Let me tell you, not easy. Because firstly, the mountains can suck in any number of... It's a huge area. Kishtwar, Dodar, Yasi, Rajouri, Punj, Padar, Warwan, Navapachi, Warwan, going down to Gundo, it's a huge, absolutely huge, thickly forested, very difficult, and all the Bakrwals right down the higher reaches. So the dhoks are full of these people, full of these sheep, goat, all kinds of animals there. Pasture lands are full. It's raining heavily over there. Plus, no visibility. It's very
Absolutely.
difficult to find out. And they have all these kind of local support there. It's not easy. But yes, we have to get out to them because even helicopters sometimes can't fly. Drones will not be able to work very well there firstly, because of the weather conditions, the terrain over there, and the logistic support that they have managed to get from there. So it's going to be tough. But yes, they will be eliminated. There's no denying the facts. But expecting something like Satpuraj is not possible because we have not sanitized the area. Unlike in the earlier case, it was sanitized. Now they're already in. There are 40 to 50 people already in. And
Correct.
imagine
Correct.
looking for a needle in a haystack. Not easy.
So
What
about what happens on the other side? General Dua, it was on your watch as the 15 Corps commander that the Uri surgical strikes happened, in 2016, sir. Will there be a trans-LOC component in your view to what is happening right now, or does there need to be, like General Kulkarni said, these terrorists have already infiltrated. Does there need to be a deterrent, punitive element across the lines also?
I agree that there needs to be a deterrent, a punitive action on Pakistan. What shape that punitive action will take will be left for the leadership to decide.
Yeah.
When we did Udi surgical strike, and the next time when it was in response to the Pulwama terror attack,
Yes.
it was an precision air strike. So the response will vary. The response will vary. But yes, we have to impose costs, whether we take a military action, whether we take diplomatic actions, whether we isolate them. So, the point is we have to make it very clear to Pakistan that this will not be tolerated. A bold response is required. A Sarvinash and operation all out kind of operation has already been launched to shake them out of the comfort zones. But yes, we have to impose costs on Pakistan, which is perpetrating this terror across the LOC.
Gaurav, what is the sense that you're getting from within the establishment, within the leadership? Obviously, we will not discuss what tactical or strategic plans are, or whether there will be punitive attacks. That is entirely left to the leadership and to the army. But what is the sense you're getting? After Uri and Balakot, which definitely played their own part. I don't trust the cynics at all when they say that "Arey terror phir bhi ho raha hai." That's not true. The deterrent value of both those strikes played a very, very major role in the huge dip in terror that the region has seen, since both those attacks. What is your sense from the system about doing something like that?
Shiv, Pakistan, through these attacks, is testing the Narendra Modi government's resolve when the BJP is not in full power with 272 of its own. They're seeing whether this is a weaker government, whether its resolve is weaker, whether its response is weaker. Shiv, I have been covering this for decades, if I may. When Narendra Modi was to take over as Prime Minister first time in 2014, there was an attack that had taken place, on the Indian consulate in Afghanistan. So they were testing what would India's resolve be. It's par for the course. They will do it. China, every time it sends in one of its premiers or presidents for a visit, or our premier goes there for a visit, they send in their troops to see, to mount pressure on India. It's standard tactics by both our hostile adversaries. Again, in 2019, that Pulwama attack took place, which of course led to a Balakot. This time, they're doing all of this. That will the response be as stern as Balakot? Both the generals and you know better. Terrorism went down after Balakot because Pakistan army knew there will be massive consequences in case there's an attack of this nature. So they didn't kill 40 people in one go. They've killed 40 soldiers, but in 7 or 8 different attacks. So 4 one time, 5 one time, 6 one time, 4, 3 one time. The number has crossed 40, but it isn't shocking the nation or the government into action because it's not one go. Will there be... again, both the generals and you can advise us better, Shiv. Do we need to activate the LC once again? Use your howitzers to punish Pakistan. They cry. Pakistan sued for that Ramzan ceasefire in 2003 first time because our artillery carried out a series of punitive strikes. Whether it's in Siachen or in Kashmir or in Jammu area, wherever we activate our big guns, Pakistan cries. If we do that again, Is that cost effective? Does it lead to more loss of lives on our side or more loss of business on our side? All of that needs to be factored in, but Pakistan must be punished. It cannot go unchallenged.
General Kulkarni, final word to you then. Is a proactive offensive posture, or I know these are easy things for us to say because these are life and death decisions taken within the system and the army, a recalibration of the response threshold, a more proactive offensive posture, is that the way to go, sir? Because otherwise, like we started this debate, it seems like Pakistan has the option of reactivating any region it wants anytime it wants to.
See, Shiv, what happens is if you have OGWs in our own country, you have a logistic support. Like fish can't stay without water, so can't these terrorists without local support. So this local support has to be eliminated. I go along with you. We have to teach Pakistan a lesson, and we have to teach this local support a lesson. We have to wipe them out as bad as anything else can be, because they are the one. It's not easy to find your way in these areas unless there's some guides to take you in. So it's essential. We have to teach Pakistan a lesson, which is using terrorism as an instrument of state policy. And now, with the connivance of China, it's using all it can do to ensure that India remains boxed in South Asia, doesn't grow economically. And here we have some people within our own country also supporting this particular cause. So it has to be at all levels. Strike Pakistan, strike the local support, and make sure it's impossible. Raise the cost so high, neither would Pakistan do, and nor would the local support. Because much that we might say that local in Jammu division, it's a mixed population. They are all in their own respective areas. The mixed population is just a kind of a feeling, but the difference in areas and the kind of local support that these people are getting, we have to deny them the local support. Not just the terrorists, the entire family has to be punished for giving support. And then only you will find people will come on this right track. Otherwise, we'll just carry on like this, and we have to put an end to it. Yeah.
We have to put an end to it. Hopefully, Operation All Out, Sarfinash 2.0, whatever we want to call it, needs to draw a line in the sand so that debates of this kind will not be necessary in the future. Can India read a kind of permanent riot act using what's happening in Jammu right now to stop terror completely across the line of control? We will have to wait and see. All we can do is wish our security forces the very best and happy hunting in the Jammu division. General Dua, General Kulkarni, Gaurav, always a pleasure. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on Part A of 5 Live this evening. Just hours ago, I just want to update our viewers. Terrorists struck the house of a village defense committee member in Rajouri in the Jammu division, triggering a swift retaliation from local villagers and the nearby security forces, forcing the terrorists to retreat hastily. The army has readied an all-out counter-operation that we've just been talking about. Here's more.
Close to 50 quick reaction teams of Special Forces commandos are being deployed as security forces mount a massive counter-terror operation south of Pir Panjal to neutralize between 35 to 50 terrorists who have repeatedly targeted soldiers and civilians in the Jammu, Poonch, Rajouri, Riyasi and Doda belt. Early on Monday, terrorists targeted the house of a village defense committee member in Rajouri, prompting a fierce retaliation from the village and the security forces deployed nearby, forcing the terrorists to beat a hasty retreat.
अफसोस की बात इस बात का है कि दोनों मुल्कों में ये कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो नहीं चाहते हैं कि अमन आए.
This is being seen as the biggest operation against Pakistan-backed terror south of Pir Panjal after Operation Sarp Vinash in 2003. During Operation Sarp Vinash, the army mobilized additional forces and deployed them in the higher reaches around Hilkaka in the Poonch Rajouri forests and then moved in additional forces to guard the flanks. Similarly, close to a brigade strength, 3,000 troops with administrative and logistics backup, along with special forces, are being rushed to plug the gaps.
पिछले दिनों जब आर्मी चीफ भी आए थे, बाकी जो बैठकें भी हुई थी, उससे बहुत रिजल्ट निकलने वाले हैं. अब जीरो टॉलरेंस तो है ही, लेकिन ऑपरेशन ऑल आउट जो चलेगा, इस प्रकार के सभी लोगों को चिन्हित भी किया जा रहा है. उम्मीद करनी चाहिए जल्दी इन लोगों को मार गिराया जाएगा.
500 para-commandos are being deployed for tactical quick reaction to neutralize terrorists should they manage to escape the security cordon. The aim of the security forces is to ensure that terrorists do not slip the multi-tiered hinterland cordon and slip across to Kashmir Valley north of Pir Panjal.
The government should immediately strengthen the VDCs. They should give them sophisticated arms, plus they should give them wireless sets to communicate one within the VDC group itself and the security forces, so that any time when this sort of attack happens, the VDCs can immediately inform everyone and the combined action can be taken against the terrorists.
The army has also procured 200 additional specially armoured plated vehicles for movement of men and material. Terrorists have successfully ambushed both vehicles and small teams chasing terrorists. The army is also reassessing its operations. Instead of chasing terrorists and walking into an ambush, multiple teams will be deployed to close the gaps and ensure the terrorists do not slip from one area to the other. Similarly, Jammu and Kashmir police are also deploying additional forces close to villages to ensure terrorists do not come to villages looking for food, water, shelter and guides. The security forces operations are also geared at strengthening the village defense committees with additional weapons and communication equipments. One of the biggest challenges for the forces has been paucity of both technical and human intelligence and adequate boots on ground. Both issues are being addressed after the recent spike in terror strikes.
As far as this counter-terror operation is concerned, there has not been any fresh contact with the terrorists, but the security forces are on their job. They are trying their level best to flush out these terrorists from the hills of Rajouri district. With video journalist Neeraj Kumar, this is Sunil Bhatt reporting from Rajouri in Jammu and Kashmir for India Today.
And days after putting on hold jobs for Kannadiga's plan in the private sector in Karnataka, the Siddaramaiah government is now in the midst of another big controversy related to the IT sector. Proposal to raise working hours from 12 to 14 hours per day. There's a huge commotion over this. Current MLA from the BJP and former minister and former deputy chief minister Ashwath Narayan joins me live on this big burning story on the other side. Stay with us.
Fly in the coop, but I need some more. Your antics make me bored, cause I just came around to say hello. I just came around to say hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
What will be the Modi government's formula to create jobs and reduce inequality, the twin biggest challenges facing his government? Get expert insights on how Nirmala Sitharaman's 7th budget affects your finance.
Decode the big numbers and the new policies shaping our nation's future. Tune in to India Today for Modinomics 3.0 live on Budget Day.
This moment these pictures are all that words can't convey. One has seen Ali Fazal caring for his wife and actor Richa Chadda multiple times as they're all set to embrace parenthood. But now these beautiful memories made it to social media ahead of their due date. Yes, Richa Chadda blessed the internet with these candid portraits from their maternity shoot, and along with the quote, she even thanked her partner for this incredible journey. Earlier this year, the couple had joyfully announced their pregnancy on social media with a creative post symbolizing 1 + 1 = 3.
Hindu College tops the list when it comes to science with courses in chemistry, zoology and botany. Miranda House is at close second position for physics, and Hansraj College remains at number 3. For 125 years, Hindu College has stayed true to the slogan, "Sculpting the Future." It takes hard work, academic excellence and a will to experiment and thinking out of the box for any educational institution to top the ranks consistently. More so when the higher education field in the country is getting more and more competitive year after year. Hindu College now offers add-on certificate courses such as fragrances and flavors and Vedic mathematics besides its regular programs. For Hindu College, it seems more the norm than the exception to figure right on top of the toppers chart.
Make your media plan smarter with IndiaToday Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with IndiaToday Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
A 14-hour workday for the software industry in Karnataka. Does that sound feasible? It's currently 12 hours, 10 hours plus 2 hours overtime, but a proposal to expand this to 14 hours in line with what Infosys founder Narayan Murthy had proposed just 1 year ago has set ablaze the conversation over the working hours of Karnataka's most cutting-edge sector, the infotech sector. Well, the Siddaramaiah government appears to be in a mood to dabble with everything in the private sector. After first proposing a quota for Kannada locals in private sector jobs and then embarrassingly pulling that proposal and saying, no, we haven't announced it yet, we are still to discuss it. Now they are apparently contemplating an increase in the working hours, something which could have many effects. Those who argue for it say it will boost productivity. Those who argue against it say it will actually lead to widespread unemployment within the IT sector because of the demands on time of techies and software professionals and the logistics of shifts actually reducing. You're going to see our screen explain all of this to you, but joining me live, someone who has spoken about this many times before, former Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, BJP MLA and former Minister in a BJP government in Karnataka, Mr. Ashwath Narayan is with us. Dr. Narayan, thank you very much for being with me and my apologies for keeping you waiting. This IT sector working hour increase proposal, how do you see this? There has been talk off and on about this kind of thing, but there has been an almost unified response from the industry saying they don't want it and they don't like it.
I feel it is totally unreasonable proposal. From where it has come, we are really surprised to hear this. The 12-hour shift itself was too much of a burden for anybody to bear with it. So I feel this 14-hour proposal is no way practical or feasible. I don't think so. The government they can't even think of considering this kind of proposal. Even if it is there, they should not consider. I think it's not fair. Even for the employees who are going to work, it is not fair. And I think totally it should be rejected. 12-hour itself is a good enough maximum what we can, make people work in any of the sector. Let it be any sector. 12 hours is more than enough. And more so if you keep watching computers or the vision or the screen for more than 12 hours, how can you make them work more than 12 hours? It's not practically feasible. I don't think so. Any government, it has got sense, can consider this more than 12 hours.
And sir, the private sector, the IT sector in general is already slightly nervous by the different announcements being made by the Siddaramaiah government. Last week, it was the quota for, Kannada locals. Then they removed that proposal saying we have not proposed it, we are still discussing it. Now this whole proposal over expansion of work hours, this is sending out a slightly uncertain signal of lack of clarity as far as the private sector in Karnataka is concerned. Is that an area of concern?
Yeah, definitely yes. Definitely yes. The government should not have taken up this proposal. Since they were facing a lot of scam, lot of issues, they wanted to just divert the entire attention of the government. So they came out with this kind of new proposal, which is not fair. See, as a state, we have been a very progressive state. We need to attract talent from across the country and we need to work as one nation. Probably in this direction, it was not fair. We have a lot of opportunities when it comes to the land acquisition. We can insist on the companies wherever we provide land. We can insist on whatever terms and conditions we want. And wherever we provide incentives, there's employment incentives, there's electronic policy incentives are there. All these places, definitely we can put a lot of conditions. But overall, and having straight away coming out with a bill, putting down that so-and-so percentage only is allowed, remaining people, non-Kannadigas are not allowed. It's not fair. None of the industries can sustain. Probably in this direction, we have an employment exchange. We throw that mandatory recruitment should happen. They could have made use of all this policy and employment exchange and more so the skilling. Even for the kind of salary what is being paid by this company, most other than the IT industry, rest remaining all the call centers or the electronic industry, the salary is not that attractive for anybody to come and migrate, settle down, pay this kind of cost is not affordable. Probably there's a mismatch. Even the governments have not been doing the right job, skilling and preparing the local manpower in the terms of training and skilling them to take the jobs and be more productive. If you don't make anybody productive, how if any person is not engaged, what will happen to the society, what kind of habits you're going to pick up, what kind of engagement you'll be into. It's very not in favorable of the society. We need to engage every person probably in this direction. The governments have been only talking, not working. They need to work, they need to be more focused. They should know what they're doing. Probably they should assess how many people are employed, not employed, what is the skill levels of the people. They need to assess. This assessment is not there. They don't have the feedback. They don't measure. And nothing works. The governance as such, it has completely failed. And the government is just making politics, just politically a lip service. Basically, it's a lip service, not concerned about anybody. Probably they can do wonders. They can do better. They can ensure that each and every person is productive. Then the question of looking elsewhere doesn't arise.
Very, very important points. And the point you raised is an important one, Dr.
Required.
Absolutely. And in terms of whether this is a diversionary tactic to take attention away from the multiple scams or scam allegations that have landed at Mr. Siddaramaia's door is also an issue that we've been highlighting here on India Today. Thank you very much, Dr. Ashwath Narayan, for your time here on India Today. Apologies once again for making you wait. This is a contentious proposal that has sparked a heated debate in Karnataka's IT sector. Perhaps the most contentious in a very, very long time. Watch this report for all the details.
14-hour work days for those in IT, IT-enabled services and BPOs. That's the proposal submitted by IT firms in Karnataka to the state government. Sources say the Karnataka government is considering amending the Karnataka Shops and Commercial Establishments Act 1961. And that the IT companies want their proposal to be included in the amendment, which would legally extend work hours from 9 to 14 hours, 12 hours plus 2 hours of overtime. According to the present labour laws, 9 hours is the permitted working hour duration, while an additional hour is allowed as overtime. The proposal is likely to be discussed by the Siddaramaiah cabinet.
No, let anyone, I may oppose, you may oppose. We have to take them into conference. It is, the working hours will be different from the outer part of the country on the international timings. So we will discuss with them, or we will call all of them and look at, we want them to have a very peace atmosphere.
The industries are pressurizing. Asking for this they want. So obviously since the pressurization is from the industries there, so this bill has come to us. Still we are evaluating from the Labour Department. Now it's an open domain, right? People are free, so they express for everything. So I want all the big heads on this to be debated, express their view. As a department, we will look into what has to be done.
Boys and girls of that IT industry work more than 8 hours. Keeping that in view, to facilitate and to make them feel that they are going by law also, the particular bill is now brought, and it is to convenience the industry and also employees.
How many health issues are there in IT sector employees? Which IT sector who has at least 5 years experience? Who does not back pain?
The move to extend working hours has been met with strong resistance from the Karnataka State IT Employees Union.
Everyone has mental health issues.
Up to 55% of the employees are facing issues such as this one back pain, neck pain, or this one vitamin D deficiency, etc. And one more interesting study from the WHO and ILO, World Health Organization and International Labour Organization combined, had studied that dying due to stroke chances have been observed in like employees who are working more than 55 hours, as well as 17% more chance of risk of dying due to heart diseases is been observed.
The Trade Association of Indian IT Industry, NASSCOM, says it has not requested a 14-hour workday limit or a 70-hour work week. The organization says it fully supports the 48-hour work week, which is the standard across the country.
Hearing this new proposal, in each shift, having 14 hours, it is completely unreasonable. The 12-hour shift was brought in so that the factory can work in 2 shifts, not in 3 shifts. Not to have a maximum working hours, and they should stick on to the maximum of 12-hour working shift, not to 14 hours.
See, that issue needs to be discussed. My request to the Honorable Chief Minister is, see, Bangalore is a global hub, it's a IT hub. Whatever decision that needs to be taken regarding to IT and other department, private sector, every stakeholder has to be taken into confidence. Chief Minister cannot take decision unilaterally.
After Kannada quota in private jobs, the proposal for 14-hour work week has triggered another storm in Karnataka. With Sagai Raj and Anaga Kesav in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
And now they want to make it even more.
And remember, the 70-hour week isn't something that's come out of nowhere. A founder of Infosys, Narayan Murthy, a famous son of Karnataka, who first triggered that entire debate last year, claiming it would boost India's economy, is where this narrative actually began. Listen to what he had said last year.
Our youngsters must say, this is my country. I want to work 70 hours a week. You know, this is exactly what Germans and Japanese did after the Second World War. Yes. The German leader, he sat down with the German leaders, corporate leaders, and he said, we have to rebuild, and that's your job. And they made sure that every German worked extra hours for a certain number of years.
Keep watching India Today. 6 p.m. Prime with Akshita comes up next. The government lifts a 58-year-long ban on government staff participating in RSS activities. BJP hails the order. Congress questions the motive. The whole story on 6 p.m. Prime with Akshita next.
चिल्लाने से सच झूठ नहीं हो जाएगा साहब ये जो कहा गया देश की अभी की एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम रबिश है सर, इससे दुर्भाग्यजनक बयान